Hello folks, and welcome back to another Legend Scale review. Today we are going to be looking at Lucky Cat's Riki-Oh box set A, which is their first pair of constructicons, Scrapper and Mixmaster. Now, as you can see, these guys have an unusual extra gimmick. They have cube modes, much like what you get with the 52 Toys figures. They come packaged in this mode inside these clear plastic boxes. We'll come back to those later when we're looking at the accessories. But yeah, they're bundled up, each in a rough approximation of a cube. I don't really know why Lucky Cat designed them to have this feature. These guys have also done a Voltron, which had the same gimmick for all of its components, so I guess that's just a thing that they do. They have decided they want to stick with this trend. I don't know. There isn't much to say really about these modes. I mean, they look like a pair of constructicons that got sent through a scrap compactor. I guess you could treat it as kind of a compact storage mode, or maybe for transport between construction sites. I don't know. Now, I am just gonna transform them into robot mode really quick here. I will warn you, there is no physical instruction booklet included with these guys. What you get in the box is a card with some QR codes on it, and those take you to video instructions, which is all well and good if you like that format. Me personally, I had the video playing at half speed. I still couldn't keep up. So yeah, I would rather have the paper copy to go through at my own pace. But yeah, because they have the video instructions, I'm not going to dwell on this too long. I don't want to regurgitate their entire video again here. So, it's just, if there was anything that wasn't quite clear from their instructions, I'll try and go into that in a little bit more detail. Speaking of which, Scrapper, the center section of his torso here, needs to move down. Now, it's not quite clear from Riki-Oh's video, but what you want to do is put your thumb on top of that head section, kind of push down and pull it at the same time. And that should free it up, because it is quite a tight joint, and I was very afraid of breaking it the first time around. So here they both are in robot form. Now, these designs are based on the War Within concepts for the Constructicons by Don Figueroa, and they are remarkably close to that concept art. You know, chunkier than G1, as all of the War Within designs are. And there are certain other differences, like Scrapper's got an extra pair of wheels, and Mixmaster has tank treads instead of wheels. But yeah, there isn't a lot of paint on these guys. You know, they've got the odd bit of gunmetal grey, and the occasional coloured highlight, you know, for the eyes, headlights, that kind of thing. They do both have die-cast in their legs. You can kind of feel it in the sides there for Scrapper, and Mixmaster has it hidden inside. Mixmaster also feels a lot heavier than Scrapper, so I reckon he must have a little bit more of that die-cast. For the articulation, we'll start with Mixmaster here. His head can rotate on a peg and also look up a little bit using that hinge. We've got butterfly hinges there for the shoulders, and then also hinge and ball joint combo. Elbows are double hinged for a nice deep bend. No rotation of any kind in there though. And then the wrists are on ball joints. He doesn't have a waist rotation, although you can extend his torso like this and get some wiggle that way. This is Devastator's combiner ankle, but no reason why you couldn't use it in this mode. The hips are a little bit restricted, both by the backpack and these wheels. Still some okay range there. The thigh rotation, nice deep knee bend, a sideways knee if for some reason you need that, and then the toes are hinged to simulate ankle joints. Then Scrapper. His head can rotate, is a little bit tighter than Mixmaster's. I've heard that it is too tight to move at all in some copies, but I didn't have that problem with mine. It is only on a peg. A problem I did encounter was when you rotate it, it has this tendency to move up. And whenever you transform back into a different mode and put the head away in the chest, that can cause the head to get stuck. So when you're transforming in, make sure you push that all the way back down so it's nice and flush. So he also has a butterfly hinge, kind of collapsible there. Ball joint for the shoulder, it is kind of hindered by his shoulder wheels. He has a double elbow again, and a really weird bicep rotation. It's like this 180-degree hinge. So you can get outward movement, but no inward movement on that, which is a little bit awkward. And then he has just a hinge at his wrists, no rotation. The waist is kind of blocked by the backpack, but if you just untab the torso a bit, you can get access to the full rotation. Then again, his hips are also quite limited. He doesn't have the backpack getting quite as much in the way, so we can get some backward movement. And then slightly lower thigh rotation. Rather useless transformation hinge in there. Now, the promotional art and I think the instruction videos show these wheels on the back of the legs, but well, they kind of block the knee joints that way. The concept art itself has the wheels around the sides, like this, and that gives you full access to the knee joints. So, perfectly okay to display them like that. Then we have some ball joints at the ankles there, and also hinges in the ankles and toes. For Scrapper, he also has his big bucket on a whole bunch of joints, and as you can see, splits in the middle, so you can kind of use these like 2 extra arms if you want to. However, all that articulation does make them a little bit annoying when you're trying to keep them in place. They're only held together by one wee tab there, and as you see from the way I've been handling them, that comes undone quite easily. These guys do come with some accessories. Scrapper has his 1 blaster, and Mixmaster has 2. And then you also have the boxes, of course. Now, these can actually come apart. Each box is made of 6 of these rectangular platforms, and a whole bunch of these little connectors joining them together. Now you also get some extra bits. You get 8 of these strut pieces and however many of these extra connectors. So you can really kind of assemble these into whatever structure you want. You can make a big display base, or some elevated platforms to set these guys on. Whatever you can think of, really. It can be a little bit difficult to get the box disassembled the first time around, but once you get it done once, it should be easier to come apart. For a few quick size comparisons, here they are with Iron Factory Megatron and Soundwave. Now, I personally wouldn't want my Constructicons any smaller than this. This is about my minimum. Sort of same height as Soundwave and a head shorter than Megatron. That works, I think. I don't know what the scale is actually supposed to be, but I'm happy with this. I know a lot of people's concern was that these guys would be too small, but you have a look at that there, make up your mind for yourself. The designs go well with Iron Factory, so up to you whether or not the scale works. There they are with their DX9 counterparts, or in my case, knockoffs as their DX9 counterparts. Interestingly enough, Mixmaster was shorter than Scrapper with DX9, but that's now been switched for the Lucky Cat versions, so what do you know? And then lastly, we've got Core Class Sludge there, Lego Stormtrooper, and my rather dusty Iron Factory Runabout. So again, for vehicle modes, I will just speed through the transformations here. As I said, there's no sense in me just copying and pasting the video that they provide. I'll just try and point out any tips I have for the tricky bits. Speaking of which, I would rotate Mixmaster's head before tucking it away. I don't think they do that in their video, but what this means is when you're trying to get it back out, it's quite hard to reach in there and get that, and there's not really anything to grab onto. But if you do this, take one of Mixmaster's blasters, you can hook that in underneath and get it out nice and easily like that, because without doing that, I had to use a screwdriver, I think, the first time. And yeah, it's not ideal to have to go grab a tool every time you want to transform them. So I always like to be able to use what I've got here. That is Mixmaster. Scrapper is a little bit more involved. Again, make sure that head is pushed down all the way on its little peg before tucking that away in the chest. And then for these front wheels, they actually have two different positions. You want to make sure they're in the lower position for vehicle mode, so they're actually touching the ground. So here they both are in their alternate modes, and these vehicles do stick pretty closely to the concept art, which may or may not be a good thing, depending on your opinion. As with any Cybertron mode, you either love it or hate it. Like Scrapper here, I mean, I don't mind him. He's just kind of a six-wheeled bucket loader. Mixmaster, on the other hand, yeah, I don't know. This big featureless block that serves as the cab doesn't look very nice, I will admit. Very short, very stubby, very plain. I know it's a Cybertronian vehicle, but it looks weird. If you want to deviate from the concept art a bit, you can extend the top up, kind of give him a windscreen there, break up the big block. This is for his combiner foot mode, but you know, no reason why you couldn't use it here. You know, rear end is fine. I like the treads that they've added instead of wheels for the cement mixer portion. He can articulate about there where his trailer hitch would be. Then Scrapper, of course, the shovel can articulate, and like no reason why you couldn't split it in two, have two big arms. Neither of these guys really roll all that well. Scrapper, there's not great clearance in those front wheels, and Mixmaster doesn't have any wheels in the rear portion, so he kind of just drags that along behind him. Overall, I think these designs accomplish what they set out to do, which was recreate the War Within concept art in figure form, and nobody else has done it better, because as far as I'm aware, nobody else has attempted it at all yet, so fair play to Lucky Cat. They are treading new ground with these guys. For some vehicle mode size comparisons, there they are with Core Class Optimus Prime and the LEGO Stormtrooper. That is them with their knockoff DX9 counterparts. Now, I'm going to leave the proper combined modes for when the full set's out and we can do the complete Devastator. But just to get a sense of how these are going to scale with other combiners, there's Mixmaster, roughly in leg form, next to his DX9 counterpart. And then also the Iron Factory Bruticus mold, or Ruination in this case. A lot of people were concerned about the total size of the combiner. I believe the quoted height for this Devastator is 22 centimeters to the top of his head. In comparison to Iron Factory Bruticus, this one is about 23, 24 to the top of his head, so Devastator will be a little bit smaller, but I think that scale is still going to work overall. And yeah, there you have Lucky Cat Riki-Oh Set A. I will say, this company has made a pretty decent first impression with these guys. I'm really looking forward to getting the rest, but until then, I've got nothing more to say about this pair. So, thank you for watching, and goodbye.